The week gets underway with racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Tuesday, the 8th of August 2023. 9 races on the program, and race number 1 is set to get underway at 11:45 over 1,000 meters. And I'm joined by Graham Hawkins on the line. And Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. And it's a pleasure to be able to report that the weather has improved in Cape Town. I was chatting to the track manager, Dean Diedrichs. He's expecting the going to be somewhere between good to soft. But it is improving all the time, and the weather looks glorious.
Yeah, that's absolutely a huge positive for us racing fans as we head into Tuesday. Now, race number 1, short price favourite here, Trip to the Woods at around 5 to 10 in the market. The Snake Yard with Grant van Niekerk team up, and she's your 5 to 10 favourite. Lady Renee at 9 to 2, it's then 6 to 1, and Better Bar those. Now, Graham, this filly, she obviously set the standard, and she on what she showed in her last start, that form line is absolutely lethal. She should take a power of beating, but there is a bit of a slight concern regarding the form of the Justin Snake Yard. They've been terribly flat over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Cape Town string hasn't been firing on all 4 cylinders, but that's certainly got to turn around. And I think Trip to the Woods, it's impossible to oppose this trippy filly. She's taken some time to come to hand, to be fair, but her last run was really good. There's not much to write home about amongst the 7 horses that oppose her. And, there was even some 8 to 10 a couple of days ago. I'm not surprised that the bookmakers that offered the 8 to 10 were bowled over. Has already shortened dramatically in the market. Unfortunately, race 1 does not form part of the exotics, but this could be the start of your all to comes. I think it's impossible to suggest that number 5, Trip to the Woods, will get beat, and is a confident first choice.
Race number 1, all in with horse number 5, Trip to the Woods. We'll move along to race number 2, which will be the start of the bipod at 12:15. 1,600 meters, the Trip Hollywoodbets Durbanville Country Series Cape A Stakes. And Gainsford tops the boards at 22 to 10, Sachdev at 3 to 1. It's Raining William at 7 to 2, 4 to 1 about the pair of Fire Alley and Linebacker, and then Triple Time, the biggest outsider, at 10 to 1 in the 6th runner field. Now, Graham, I'm not quite sure what to make of this contest. I thought it's quite a trappy race. Obviously, if Linebacker has to bounce back to some of his better form, then he'd take a power of beating. Interestingly enough, he's had 21 starts in his career, and he's never been to Hollywoodbets Durbanville.
Yeah, that is interesting, particularly as most of his runs have been in the Western Cape. I don't know what to make of Linebacker. I thought it would win last time, and it ran a horrible race behind Somerset Morm. Perhaps the going was still very much, or too much on the soft side for Linebacker, but to be honest, we now got to wait and see when he turns the corner, because I've run out of patience with number 2, Linebacker. That being said, this is a very tricky race, only 6 runners. The pace is going to be critical. As you said, the favourite is last turnout winner, Gainsford. He won well, beating Scalini, comes into the race in good form. There's been a touch of support for number 6, Sachdev. He's also slowly come into the kind of form that saw him run a top-class race in the Cape Derby as a 3-year-old. It's Raining Williams' last run is too bad to be true. Judge him on his previous form. Fire Alley, you can never discount. He'll go to the front, and if he gets easy fractions in front, and they're not going that hard, he could go start to finish. It's a very tricky race. It's a tricky start to the bipod. I'm taking no chances. I'm putting all 6 in the first leg of the bipod. I guess my hesitant first choice would be Gainsford because he's in good form. But quite frankly, that selection is made without any confidence whatsoever.
Very, very trappy race to get the bipod underway. And as you heard from Graham, no chances taken in leg number 1. Moving along to race number 3, which will be the start of the place accumulator. 1,400 meters the distance. And race number 3 jumps at 12:45. Your current favourite is Celtic Chief, 5 to 1 into 3 to 1. The first timer from the Andre Null yard. Golden Grey, 4 to 1 into 33 to 10. Garrett Van Zyl has his first set of runners down in the Cape, 5 to 1. It is 7 to 1. And Better Bar those. Now, we are just chatting off air. Celtic Chief, well-bred horse, 3 million rand purchase, son of Vercingetorix. He doesn't, obviously, he jumps off the page when we have a look at his pedigree, Graham, and he's pulled a good draw, which I think is a huge positive and early support. But as you mentioned to me off air, you'd like to see a bit more support for him.
Yeah, I think he's the real deal, and I'm not suggesting he's not. Andre Nell's horses often just need that one run. He's been in very good form, the Andre Nel stable. They've sent out Boogie Fied and a couple of other really nice winners recently, but even Boogie Fied needed that first run, got it all right in his second start. But 1,400 meters, interesting that he makes his debut over 1,400 meters. I don't think Andre Nel would have run this very well, Brett versus Gedric's Colt, from a bad draw, so obviously he's cracked a good draw. The money is coming, you have to respect that. I'm putting 3 horses into the bipod. I am going to include Gareth Van Sale's runner number 2, Stars in Heaven, and number 7, Golden Grey. They're both sons of Denon Platina. Golden Grey third in his first 2 starts over the straight course at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. I think he'll go well around the turn and appreciate the step up in trip. And Stars in Heaven, 2 good runs on the poly track at KwaZulu-Natal. He races without the blinkers. That's an equipment change. He's cracked the inside gate. I think he should go well on the turf. He does step up a little bit. I guess you can say the fields that he met in KwaZulu-Natal were not that strong, but he has plenty of scope for further improvement. So I'm going to include 2, 3, and 7 into the second leg of the bipod. Obviously, Celtic Chief may just prove too good for this field. Of the balance, I'm expecting a much better run from number 5, Go It Alone. Made a very, very smart debut behind Future Variety, and then a horrible run behind Swiss Louis. He's got to be better than that. Plus 4, Ozark, those at Lexicon Point, those are ones for trifectas and quartets. But 2, 3, and 7 for me. Obviously, we have to respect Celtic Chief. We have to respect his pedigree, and we have to respect the fact that there's money coming for him. But I wouldn't be banking on him on his first start.
Yeah, just keep a close eye on the betting market. If he does shorten even further, well then you should know that there's lots of confidence behind him. And the computer form comment is confident as well. Andre Nel did mention has had a gallop and should run well about number 3, Celtic Chief. But 2, 3, and 7 the numbers for Graham, and I will just include one more. That's horse number 8, plus 4. I think the step up and trip will absolutely suit him down to the ground. Moving along to race number 4, which is the start of the pick 6 over 1,600 meters, 1:15 the off time. Oliver tops the betting boards at 22 to 10, 9 to 2 about Red William, all about Ronnie, 5 to 1 no apologies, 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now Oliver is returning off a layoff just short of 4 months since he was last seen behind Contiguous, and he's definitely a runner that will go close. But I think there's opposition for him here, Graham, and obviously no apologies. Extremely well weighted as a 3-year-old coming into this race with just 52.5 on the back. I even think Rainbow Colors could run a cheeky race. Ignore his last start. I think he could bounce back to some of his earlier form.
Yeah, there are a number of inconsistent maidens here. I must be honest, I'm quite strong on Oliver. It's not really his fault that he hasn't run since April. He's been carded on a number of occasions, and all of those race meetings were abandoned due to the weather when the rain was really falling, as it was in Cape Town. I'm sure he's in a good space. He's cracked a good draw. He's only had the 4 starts. When he last ran at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, he ran 3rd to Numzan. It wasn't a strong race, but he was drawn 13 out of 14 on that occasion, which made his task very tough. He ran 2nd, beaten a whisker by Contiguous. On that run, he's got a number of these held. So I do think Oliver's going to be hard to beat. And I was sort of thinking about bankering him in the bipod, but I'm going to add one horse. I'm going to respect the fact that number 9, No Apologies, is a year younger. It's got 52.5 on the back. Is improving steadily. Was a well-beaten 2nd behind Snow Pilot. We're really not sure about the strengths of that form, because they've been 4 runners since no winners. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that number 9, No Apologies, certainly has scope for improvement. So I was wanting to bank Oliver, but I'm going to include 9, No Apologies. So 2 and 9 in the bipod for me. But I have to say that Oliver is quite a confident first choice for me. Yeah,
that's horse number 2 at 22 to 10, and could certainly be a nice price for you if you are a fan of this individual from the Adam Marcus yard. Moving along to race number 5, 1,800 meters the distance. The maiden plate for the fillies and mares. Get your bets on by 13.55. Women's World 13 to 10, 7 to 2 Mothership, 9 to 2 Flamboyant Flyer. Touch of support for Dawn of Gold into 8 to 1. It's then 10 to 1. And a better bar those. Scratched here is number 8 Diamond Rockstar. So it's a field of 8 runners that go to post. Number 5, Women's World, obviously a very good second last time out behind Miss New York. But I think based on that run, Mothership possibly a horse that you have to throw into the mix as well.
Yeah, Mothership has obviously got a chance. I mean, she was close up behind Miss New York, as was Women's World. Women's World was slightly in front of her. I do think that Women's World is improving steadily. She's a year younger than Mothership. She's got more scope for improvement. Her pedigree suggests that the further she goes, the better that she'll be, and that the form seems to suggest that as well. It's taken a little while for the penny to drop, but she's got very much a staying pedigree, so that's often not a surprise. And she was a good second behind Miss New York over 1,600 meters last time. I think the step up to 1,800 meters is going to be further in her favor. Quite frankly, I think Women's World is a solid bet here and will beat Mothership again. For me, the professional double of the day is a trip to the woods in the first race onto Women's World in race 5. If this doesn't win, I'm all out. I'm not trying to beat Women's World. I sometimes try and beat the favourites. This is a favourite I'm not trying to beat. I think Women's World will win.
Yeah, lots of confidence coming from Graham about horse number 5 in the 5th race on the program. And as you heard from him, professional double on the day. Race 1, that's a trip to the woods, and race 5, Women's World. Race number 6, it's a class 4 event over 1,600 meters. 2:30 is the off time. And To the Moon and Back tops the boards at 7-2. Keisha Raz 5-1 into 4-1. Katsu 9-2. 6-1 about Intaba Zondi. Sylvan Theatre, it's then 7-1. And better ball those. Now, Graham, last time out after Keisha Raz won, we had messaged one another and said we both went for him in his penultimate start, and then just ignored him last time out because we were sold on Lunch Money, who ran a very disappointing race, and this horse won at around 12-1 in the market. We've got to be with him once again, Keisha Raz, though.
Yeah, it's one of those things, as you say, in the penultimate start when it ran behind Intaba Zondi, who also runs here. I was so strong on Keisha Raz that day at 12-1, as our fans would know, because the computer form describes it as 7-1 into 9-2. But earlier in the week, Keisha Raz on that occasion was 12-1. Completely ignored him last time. He went start to finish under a good ride from JP van der Merwe. And this is a very, very tough race. But I like number 8 Keisha Raz as one for the shortlist. In the bipod, I'm going to include 4 Global Ally. I think that'll run a better race. 5 Sylvan Theatre. That's another one of these Des McLaughlin runners that hasn't run since November that comes into town with pretty decent form. To the Moon and Back, we've been waiting for him to register his second career victory, but he got to go onto the short list. He's the early week favourite in the open market, and number 8 Keisha Raz. So 4, 5, 6 and 8 for my bipod. I'm not as sold on Keisha Raz as you are, because I went to the funeral in his penultimate start. I didn't go to the wedding last time, and I don't want to go to the funeral now. So it's one of those things. Katsu definitely has a chance. There are others with chances, including, of course, Intaba Zondi, who's stable companion to Sylvan Theatre. This is the kind of result, this low class 4 handicap, that can produce a bit of a result. It is the first leg of Jackpot 2. Certainly if I was playing Jackpot 2, I would include the field in the bipod. I'm going to take my chances, because you're not guaranteed to get through, but I'm going to take my chances with 4, 5, 6 and 8. We'll make Keisha Raz a marginal first choice, but I'm not as confident as you are.
Yeah, I think a horse to throw into the mix as well, number 7 Rule of Thumb. Now, Craig Bantam gets to stick with this horse, and last time out he showed some nice improvement when 3rd behind Inside Story. When 5th behind Inside Story, beaten 3 lengths. I think he can make further improvement, and his rating has taken a bit of a drop, 87 down to 72, and he could possibly be lurking on the premises at around 12-1 in the market. But a very competitive race is race number 6. Moving along to race number 7, 2,000 meters the distance. This is a Stayers Stakes. It's B-Claw, average rating of a 91. Love is a Rose, 7-2. Sudden Song, 4-1, along with Royal Watch, Night Ruler, Machete Man, 5-1. 6-1 Coronation Time, and then 12-1 about numbers 1 and 5. A very, very trappy contest, Graham, but I think number 1, The Future is Bright, could run a nice race. Even though he's got top weight, he's drawn in gate number 1. He loves Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And at 12-1 in the market, I think there's a bit of value about this horse.
Yeah, they're a very evenly matched bunch. A lot of old soldiers have raced against each other on many occasions, most particularly Sudden Song, Coronation Time, Royal Watch, Night Ruler. They ran 1, 2, 3 and 4 last time out. Coronation Time beating Sudden Song, then Royal Watch and Night Ruler, so they're in that order last time. Again, pace will make the race. Of that quartet, for one reason or another, I like the chances of number 7, Royal Watch, but all 4 need to go in. The early week favourite is Love is a Rose. I will get back to Future is Bright in a moment. Love is a Rose won the final Fling Stakes Group 3 last time. She's the only rose amongst the thorns in this field. And I think she's going to find it quite tough because there's some hard knockers that are well distance suited, but she's a smart filly, Love is a Rose, and she could well justify the fact that she's been put at the top of the boards in the early betting exchanges. You mentioned the Future is Bright. Yes, his last run was obviously all wrong. It was his first run since March, and it was in very heavy
conditions. Certainly did not suit the Future is Bright last time out.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So he's going to get better going. As we mentioned earlier, the going is going to be good to soft. That'll be much more to his liking, so you can't ignore the Future is Bright. Machete Man won the Eastern Cape Derby in his last start in May. He's won his last 3. So he might just need the run, but you can't ignore him. And even Baratheon, he's had 3 starts at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's the rank outsider of the party. He's had 3 starts for a winner, second and a fourth. So you take your chances here. I'm not confident about everything. I think they're all evenly matched. I'm going to go for number 7, Royal Watch, as a marginal first choice, only on the back of his gameness and his consistency. And I'm sure JP van der Merwe will give him a good ride. But Justin Staith, of course, has got all of the Future is Bright, Machete Man, Royal Watch and Night Rule. He's got half the field. And I think the pace is going to dictate the outcome here, Rahil.
Yeah, well, Machete Man, he's a known front runner, definitely likely to go out in front. And Baratheon, he's another one that loves to go up handy and could pay to be with a horse that is just lurking in behind them and will want a genuine tempo on. And yeah, Royal Watch and Night Ruler, both horses that do enjoy that. But we're hoping that Justin Staith can bounce back to some of his better form, as he does have quite a strong hand in race number 7. Moving along to race number 8, 1250 meters. It's a class 3 event. And the penultimate race on the program jumps at 15:45. Dance Variety bounced back to winning ways last time out and tops the boards at 28-10. He beat Dean Street, and Dean Street is the second favorite at 7-2. Wyag 9-2. Champion Warrior back at his course where he's unbeaten. He could bounce back to winning ways once again. He's at 5-1. And then it's 6-1 and better bar those. And it's another very trappy event where I'm not quite sure what to make of this event, of this field. I mean, Champion Warrior, his first 2 starts, he absolutely won very comfortably, and it seemed like he'd go on to bigger and better things, but he's just never seemed to reproduce that form, and he's dropped a few points in the ratings. Can he be effective back at the course where he's unbeaten?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he obviously has a terrific liking for Hollywoodbets Durbanville. As you mentioned, he won his first 2 starts, and we were hailing Champion Warrior as a potential future star. When you look back on that form, beating Stratospheric by half a length and Master Vigilante by 2 lengths, you have to say that perhaps you got a bit carried away at the time. But yes, he's been dropping down the ratings, and he clearly loves Hollywoodbets Durbanville. And Champion Warrior, even though he's drawn worst of all, number 10, Double Charge, is a scratching. Even though he's drawn worst of all, Champion Warrior can bounce back. You mentioned Dance Variety, beating Dean Street, beating Wyag. They ran 1, 2, 3 in the 12th of July. I'm going to look to Wyag to reverse that order. He loves Hollywoodbets Durbanville, as does Champion Warrior. He's had 4 starts there for a winner, second and 2/3. Whereas Dance Variety and Dean Street, they've had limited opportunities. They've each only had 1 start at the course, finishing unplaced, both of them. And they may be better down the straight. I stress the word may be better down the straight. Wyag, we know, loves Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and he'll go well. Hammy's Hero, we mentioned last time, could show significant improvement. He did behind Ragnar Lothbrock. On that form, he strictly has the beating of Champion Warrior. So it's another little tricky little race, but I'm going to include, numbers 2, 4, 5, and 8. I'm going to sit on the fence with Champion Warrior. I know he's unbeaten, but I'm going to include numbers 2, 4, 5, and 8. My first choice would be number 8, Wyag.
Yeah, that's horse number 8, Wire. Got around 9-2 in the market. Anthony Andrews takes a ride for Greg Enion, and this horse, he could certainly bounce back to winning ways here. As Graham mentioned, he enjoys the course. Next up, race number 9, the final race on the day. It's a Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4 event over 1,250 meters. Moya Wala Liga, well, he's a horse that has just bounced back to winning ways. His confidence is up, and he has his... I would say his first run down in the Cape with Gareth Van Zyl. He's cracked the inside draw. Huge positive for him. He's a known front runner, and he's likely to go out there and make his own pace. Fort Red, 9-2, 5-1 Yamadori, 7-1 Night Tiger, 8-1 and Better Bardos. It's a big field that go to post to close off proceedings. As much as Moya Wala Liga is in form, and I think he's a horse that we've got to follow until he's beaten, I like the look of Fort Red back at the country course. He enjoys it, and his second last time out actually encourages me behind Benjamin, because it showed that he's still got some life left in those old legs, and even the soft going, he never really shone on it before, but he proved that it wasn't really an issue for him last time out. Grant gets on well with him, and I can see him running a huge race here.
Yeah, me too. I think the betting is a good guide. It's a weak open market, as the betting shows. Number 1, Moya Wala Liga would be my top choice because of the fact that he's drawn in gate 1. But I have healthy respect for number 8, Fort Red. And I'm tempted to include just those two in the final leg of the exotics in a competitive handicap. These class 4 handicaps are always competitive. But Moya Wala Liga and Fort Red, they do make a lot of appeal for me. But I'm going to throw one more in, just in case Snaith comes bouncing back, and number 10, Yamadori, who ran second on debut behind Mojo. Man, that's talented. Beat Warm Winter Night in its next start. Maybe Yamadori has got a lot of scope for improvement. He's completely unexposed, as is his fellow 3-year-old Gallic Dream. But at Gallic Dream, interestingly, he's already won at Hollywoodbets Durbanville when beating Mojo Man. So those two 3-year-olds could have any amount of scope for improvement, but I do think they're going to find it tough against these hard-knocking, in-form older horses. So my top 2 choices in no particular order, definitely number 1, Moya Wala Liga, and number 8, Fort Red. And like you, Fort Red loves Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Grant van Niekerk gets on extremely well with Fort Red, so they probably set the standard. You probably could say that whatever beats Fort Red will win it.
Yeah, Fort Red, I think he's some decent value at around 9-2 in the final race on the day, and you could possibly close off your day out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, maybe a few swingers and exacta box with numbers 1 and 8 in the final race. Graham, thanks very much for your time. Obviously, it does seem to be quite a tricky card, but hopefully we've managed to guide the guys in the right direction with 9 races on the program out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Race number 1 getting underway at 11:45, so do take note of that. 9 races. Barpot will begin in race number 2, place accumulator race number 3, and the pick 6 in race number 4. Once again, thanks very much to Graham Hawkins for his time, and all the best to you as a viewer with racing on Tuesday.